Well, we could do a voiceover. This is brought to you by Flatirons Subaru.
Yeah, I mean, starting from the front, it's definitely super interesting how many different textures they actually put on the car.
So there's 3 textures on the front. You've got this like vertical, but then in the fog light vents, or where the fog lights would be vents, there's this diamond texture and then this weird shark skin texture. I think this outer one is the shark skin. I think that's the same one that's on the 2022 WRX fenders. And then there's nothing on the fender exit. It's smooth. Functional vents on front and back of the front tire.
Yeah, everything's functional, which is sweet.
You notice they left room up front for an intercooler?
It's kind of.
Yeah.
They did indeed leave room up front for the intercooler.
The thing that's the most surprising to me is the front control arms are stamped steel.
And maybe if they do the STI version, put some Brembos on this thing and maybe an aluminum front control arm.
Yep.
They're hyping up the fact that they made this chassis way stiffer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not sure exactly if the control arms are gonna matter.
I'm sure that they work. It's not like they would put a control arm that has a lot of flex,
Right.
in it, especially on the front, because like under braking, under hard turning, like if you have a lot of deflection in the front control arm, that's going to make the car feel inconsistent.
And from everything we've heard,
It does.
Tsuchiya says
Yeah.
it works just fine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Flat floor almost.
pretty much almost to the rear axle.
Most of the rounds.
Close.
Pretty amazing.
You can tell that they looked at the whole bottom of the car and put like a lot of aerodynamic pieces in place.
Yeah, I mean, they even went as far as making ducts for the transmission to get ventilation in the undercarriage.
Well, they've got a metal skid plate, but you can see we've got little cooling ducts put into it. I mean, this is a premium car. It should get better fuel economy. I mean, it's better aerodynamics, less drag if you're going to take it to the track, and
Quieter material as well.
Quieter material.
Not loud material down here.
yeah.
So then back here, we just kind of looked, it looks like the geometry of the rear strut is slightly further out. So the older control arms for the older ones not necessarily gonna work.
Well, so what's interesting about when you have a rear strut that is attached to the control arm, the further to the center that you attach that strut, then the more mechanical advantage the suspension has to work on the strut. So effectively it softens the spring ring, so you'd have to have a much higher spring ring. So moving it out further and further to the rear, you're gonna have a little bit more linear response.
Looks like a pretty nice multi-link rear suspension, just like
Yep.
the older versions. Trailing arm looks almost identical. The toe arm, you definitely have a little bit of adjustment with the toe arm.
Yeah.
But I don't see a whole lot of actual camber adjustment with that besides just that toe arm.
It's the upper arm. Does not appear to be an eccentric.
I don't see an eccentric. Torsion style rear differential, that's cool.
Yeah.
Be cool if it was limited slip, clutch style. Limited slip.
Nope.
I think they were talking about that being a difference between the GR86 and the BRZ.
Oh.
Some of the reviewers were saying the rear end is more lively on the Toyota version and the Subaru version really settles at the rear. That could be one of the changes between the two chassis.
It's a pretty good looking wheel. I'm really excited about the fact that they have Pilot Sports on there.
Not the quote-unquote Prius tires.
No Prius tires here. Look at that massive 2.4 liter motor.
Well, this is the cool thing to me. Factory oil cooler now, and that engine does sit incredibly low. Not a whole lot of room in there.
Some decent factory bracing. There's enough room for an LS.
Yep, there you go.
And or a supercharger kit right here.
Or K24.
K24,
Ah.
sure.
Plastic intake manifold.
Very similar to the older generation.
Yep.
Comes with the Tokyo Roki.
Yeah.
Hey, the black filter.
The actual AC condenser and radiator are at an angle.
Yeah. Sloped a little bit. So, what do you guys think of the looks? Do you like the looks? Do you like the change?
I love it. I actually love everything about it, except for the steering wheel.
Seeing it in person, I mean, if you see a BRZ, it's a small car. You can kind of forget in the pictures that it is basically a two-seater. This was smaller than I was expecting.
It does remind me a lot of like the Cayman, like the 718 Porsches.
I remember that the Cayman was the benchmark for the first BRZ. I'd say that like they're even closer to that with this one. When you've got the adaptive headlights, they turn with the steering wheel. Everything feels really tight. I think the interior feels great. I mean, really high quality. Like everything's easily within reach in the driver's seat.
I think it's definitely a step up from the last gen for sure.
Definitely.
I think they kept that little dip in the roof. Overall styling, I think it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Something about the back end I like better. I think it's because it's wider. It just looks wider. I don't know if it's actually wider.
We've got our resident mailman here who actually tracks the.
Yeah, he drives the BRZ. What do you think?
I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. I'm just not seeing it. It actually looks better than I thought.
I mean, it feels good. It's definitely got some torque. It's nothing fast.
It probably feels like mine on the corner.
Sure. I mean, there's nothing that's like mind-boggling about the speed of it, but it is very linear. It feels very good.
Responsive.
Yeah. But rounded up to red line, second, third gear. It red lines at the rev limiter, where it goes pop, 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 and it's time to shift. Jump in, have a seat.
Seats look familiar.
Here, I'll take them out. So, Jason, from somebody who actually tracks a BRZ, what do you think of the seating position?
The visibility seems better already.
What do you think the overall like cluster and control panel?
There's a lot more than there is in mine. There's literally nothing in mine. Everything seems very like functional in terms of like the shape of everything. And like I say, it all kind of helps to visibility so far. I mean, like for me, like the wheel literally stops right where the hood is. So it's like perfect. For a tall guy, yeah, it still houses me pretty well.
Well, Nigel was saying like his head hits the roof, so with the helmet he might be struggling in there.
Yeah, I mean, just sitting in here, like it doesn't seem obstructive to me. I mean, I'm sure if I had a helmet on in this thing, it might be a different story. But I mean, I guess as some sort of daily, I'm sure it would be fun. Yeah, these things are futuristic. Is it the same trans?
Same trans with different ratios.
Okay.
Yeah, all in all,
I'm interested in driving.
I would rip one around for a while.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see what it'd do on the track as is. Throw some better tires on it.
But I mean,
But
that's
fun.
it's exactly what I want to do. If we had the time, I wanted to put this in the trailer, go out to High Plains, and just go get a baseline on it. Just see like, what is the baseline time on this stock 2022 BRZ?
Yeah, because even with stock brakes, like in mine, I mean, I think I threw in like, at the time, like DTC 30s or something, and it was still very fun around the track. Does it sound any better? Just
Pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah.
quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
When you're driving it, I mean, it's got a good sound to it.
Yeah.
It's definitely got a good note to it.
Going in. He's going in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the wheel.
It's still only a
Civic Si or BRZ?
Well, BRG is better. The wheel, at least. Kind of minimalistic up here. These aren't toggles, yo.
No.
They're buttons that just go down. But you don't buy this car with the buttons.
What do you buy this car for, Viet?
40 grand? No. Next podcast we're gonna do 50 grand car.
Okay.
Would you buy this?
Can you get this to the track off the showroom for 10 grand in a class?
Yeah, the 86 class. Usually you put like, what do you put tires? Some cheater tires?
Yeah, that's all.
Cheater tires and pads?
I bet you could go win that class with this, because nobody else has one.
Yeah, if no one's there,
Unlike
I guess
Scotty.
you're already winning.
Yeah.
Class of its own.
I like
Class
that.
of its own.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely be a stock class.
I like that. It's nice material. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I wouldn't daily this. No way. Not enough room. I need like an old man car.
Not enough room for what? Your ego?
I don't know how to ego. Dang.
For a case
Yeah, I can't get out. My head's so big.
He's stuck in there forever.
Yeah, my head's so
He
big.
just bought this thing.
See if you can knock me over.
Alright, I'm gonna turn this off before we die.
Well, I mean, and that seems like this is what Subaru did. Is they did not want to completely redesign it. They wanted to refine it. They took what was good about the first gen and made it better. They weren't trying to make something that was a complete departure from the first one. It's just every little detail. It sounds like they're just trying to improve it.